Look at your screen right now and do not look away, because the world as we knew it 36 hours ago is gone. We are witnessing a disaster in the making, and most people are so blinded by the smoke and the fire that they don't even realize the trap that has just been set for our nation. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launch Operation Epic Fury. We are talking about nearly 900 strikes in the first 12 hours alone. They hit the Revolutionary Guard, they hit the air defenses, and they took out 9 naval ships in a heartbeat. But here is the headline that is shaking the very earth beneath our feet. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran for over 30 years, is dead. He was killed in the first wave. This isn't just a military win, it is a massive earthquake in the world order. And I am here to tell you that the aftershocks are going to last for a generation. Before we go any deeper into why this is a strategic catastrophe, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. In a world where news moves this fast and the stakes are this high, you cannot afford to miss the truth behind the headlines. Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you about how this war started will change how you see everything. Now, think about this. A decision that sends our sons and daughters into combat, a decision that kills a foreign head of state, how was it told to the American people? It wasn't from the Oval Office. It wasn't with the gravity of a speech to Congress. The President of the United States announced this entire war in a 6-minute video on Truth Social. This is about more than just a choice of website. It's about the total breakdown of how a great democracy is supposed to work. When you announce a war on the same platform where people post memes and jokes, you are telling the world that this isn't a somber duty, it's a product launch, and that should scare every single one of you. This is the moment where the path of our nation shifts, and we are flying blind without the institutions that were built to keep us safe. Look closely at the numbers, because they tell a story that the flashy headlines are trying to hide. We're being told this is a laser-focused victory, but the reality on the ground is a chaotic mess. As of today, March 12, 2026, the Pentagon is claiming local air superiority, but at what cost? We've hit over 5,000 targets. We've leveled nuclear sites in Natanz and Isfahan. But while the bombs are falling, the price of oil is swinging like a pendulum, hitting $120 a barrel before dipping, leaving every American family wondering if they can afford to drive to work tomorrow. This is the epic fury we were promised, but it's looking more like an epic gamble with your wallet and our global stability. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and understand how these global shocks hit your neighborhood, subscribe to this channel right now. We don't just give you the noise, we give you the facts that the mainstream media is too afraid to touch. Here is what most people are missing. The regime didn't just vanish when the smoke cleared over the Ayatollah's bunker. In the middle of the chaos, the Iranian Assembly of Experts met in a panicked online session while bombs were literally falling on the city of Qom. They didn't surrender, they didn't wave a white flag. Instead, they appointed the late leader's son, Mojtaba Khamenei, as the new supreme leader. We were told this would lead to a quick regime change and a democratic uprising. Instead, we've triggered a hereditary succession in a nuclear-ready state that is now more defiant than ever. The administration says the war is pretty much done, but the new leadership in Tehran says they are ready for a long, bloody conflict. Who do you think is telling the truth? We are standing at the edge of a regional fire that one man started with a post on social media, and we still don't have an exit plan. Look at the maps, folks, and look at the chaos. While the white-hot flashes of explosions make for great television, the cold reality of what happens when you cut off the head of a snake is starting to bite back. We were told that killing the supreme leader would bring the regime to its knees. Instead, it has turned a country into a cornered animal. For nearly 50 years, Iran has played a dangerous game, but they played it with a certain logic. Now, that logic is gone. As of today, the Iranian Assembly of Experts has bypassed every hope for a democratic spring and handed the keys to Mojtaba Khamenei. This isn't just a new leader. It's a leader who was literally wounded in the very strikes that killed his father. He isn't looking for a seat at the table. He's looking for blood. If you want the unfiltered truth about how these decisions are tearing up the global playbook, you need to subscribe to this channel right now. We are the only ones tracking the ripples before they become tidal waves. Don't be the last to know why your world is changing. But here is the disaster most people don't realize: the communication gap. On one hand, you have the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, standing at a lectern telling the world that this is the most intense day of strikes yet, with over 5,000 targets hit and the Iranian Navy rendered combat ineffective. But then you have the president himself calling this a short-term excursion, and an excursion that will keep us out of a war. Which is it? Is it an excursion or is it a total war? When the commander-in-chief can't decide if he's taking a stroll or launching a crusade, our allies start to panic and our enemies start to plan. We are seeing oil tankers halted, the Strait of Hormuz effectively a no-go zone, and the global markets screaming for a plan that doesn't exist. This isn't just a military operation. It's a messaging meltdown that is leaving America isolated at the very moment we need the world on our side. Look at the numbers, because they are the only things that don't lie in a war of words. As of this morning, March 12, 2026, we are being told that Operation Epic Fury is a success because the missiles have stopped flying as often. The Pentagon says Iran's rate of fire has dropped by 94%. They say there is practically nothing left to target. But here is the part that should make your blood run cold. While the military is taking a victory lap, the world is watching a massive power vacuum open up that we are not prepared to fill. We didn't just break a government, we shattered a country of 88 million people. And history tells us that when you break it, you own it. This is the kind of deep dive reporting you won't get on the evening news. If you want to know what the next 10 years of American foreign policy really look like, subscribe to this channel right now. We are digging past the press releases to show you the true cost of victory. The disaster most people don't realize is that limited excursions have a funny way of becoming permanent occupations. The president says we are not into nation building, but we just killed the only man who held that country together for 4 decades. Now, we have a new, wounded leader in Mojtaba Khamenei, and we have millions of people who have just watched their infrastructure turn to dust. Our allies in the Gulf, like Qatar and the UAE, are already feeling the heat from Iranian counterattacks. They didn't ask for this war, but they are paying for it in fire. And back home, the constitutional crisis just beginning. Congress was bypassed, the law was ignored, and the precedent has been set. One man can start a war on a whim. This isn't just a disaster for Iran, it's a disaster for the very rules that keep our own government in check. We are winning the battles, but we are losing the very foundation of what makes America a leading democracy. Look at the final balance sheet of this conflict, because the costs are starting to come due in ways no one predicted. We are being told that the mission is accomplished, but as of right now, we have 3 American families who will never see their loved ones again. We have a Middle East that is more volatile than at any point since the 1970s. And we have a global economy that is trembling because 20% of the world's oil is sitting behind a blockade that we triggered. The president calls this a masterstroke, but a masterstroke doesn't leave your allies in the dark and your own. Congress scrambling for answers in the wreckage of a constitutional crisis. This is the end of the beginning, not the beginning of the end. If you want to be here when the real consequences of Operation Epic Fury start hitting our shores, you must subscribe to this channel right now. We are the only ones who will stay on this story long after the cable news cameras have moved on to the next distraction. The disaster that most people don't realize until this very moment is that we have traded a known threat for an unknown chaos. By killing the supreme leader and decapitating the Iranian government without a plan for the morning after, we haven't brought peace. We brought a vacuum. History is screaming at us. We saw it in Iraq, we saw it in Libya, and now we are seeing it again. You can destroy a military in minutes, but you cannot build a nation in a 6-minute social media video. The epic fury might be over for the bombers, but for the American taxpayer, for the service members still in the region, and for the future of our democracy, the bill is just arriving. We have set a precedent that one man, with one click, can change the world forever without asking the people for permission. That is the real disaster, and it's one we will be living with long after the smoke clears.